What do y'all hear? Y'all hear me? It's not playing nothing in the background, is it? Let me turn that shit down. I think it was playing like some sound effects. I don't know why that was happening. I don't know why that was happening just now. My bad, y'all. Y'all can hear me good? Let me know if y'all hear me good. It should be fine. Should be straight now. Y'all let me know. Man, I'm bruh. I'm trying so hard to push this agenda for my guy, but shit just ain't looking good, bro. Shit ain't looking good for us. Shit ain't looking good for us right now, man. The agenda is in jeopardy. The agenda for Wemby is in jeopardy right now, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. The agenda is in jeopardy. I'm not gonna hold y'all. It's in jeopardy right now. Give me a second while I pull up some of these numbers. And trust me, we gonna flame some dudes. We gonna talk about a lot because a lot happened tonight. And I'm not gonna lie, as someone who's an avid Wemby supporter, I've been pushing that Wemby is the best player in the league. But games like tonight, whether he played well or not, you still saw a lot of those flaws from game one, especially in that first half, that we just still got to talk about. We still got to talk about it. Because, man, this was rough tonight. This was rough tonight. Because what's going on, YouTube? Time to re-up. I'm trying to be as positive as I can be for y'all. It was rough for me, but I'm trying to be as positive as I can be for y'all. My boy Sean said he wanted to know when I stream. I got you, big dog. I got you. Because Sean been on my ass about the Knicks. He's one of my boys. He's a Knicks fan. All right, time to re-up, y'all. Sorry about the lethargic start to the stream. Sorry about the lack of energy. But I've been an avid Wemby supporter from before he even got into. Someone said I gotta play the Chinese song for the Spurs players. I got y'all. I got that shit queued up. Don't worry. We gonna cook some dudes today because it's about time. Truly, we got to. We got to, right? Because it's looking rough. It's looking rough as fuck. But tonight was game 2. The Knicks stole game 1 in a game at home for the San Antonio Spurs. Knicks were on the road. So tonight was a must-win game. It was a must-win game. If the Spurs don't win this game, I remember going into it, I said, with the way the Knicks are rolling, and as bad as the Spurs looked in game 1, and obviously youth, if you want to throw that in there, they're going to go to MSG. They needed to win this game or we were at risk of a sweep. We were at risk of a sweep. And that's exactly what happened tonight. The Knicks won. They stole another game on the road. We can go to the numbers right here. Here they are. And the crazy thing is, again, the Knicks did not play their best game. Now, they were on fire from 3. There was a stretch in time in the game where the Knicks could not miss from 3. I mean, you got OG Anunoby 40%. Karl-Anthony Towns 60%. Mikal Bridges, unsung hero of the night. I think he started off the game. It's ironic. I think he started off the game like 7 of 8, ended up 8 of 13. But there were minutes where Brunson and Cat were off the court, and Mikal Bridges kept hitting shot after shot after shot. He started off the game like 4 of 4 from 3, could not miss, and then just hit a couple of solid mid-range jumpers. And those were minutes where, like I said, Cat and Jalen Brunson were off the court. I think he hit one more shot or two after Wemby came on the court, because those minutes were also Wemby was off the court. And again, Brunson did not play well. Shamet as well hit some big shots. Shout out to Landry Shamet. He hit some really big shots, was hustling on defense as well. But honestly, to me, this wasn't even the story of game one for Brunson. Brunson was terrible. I mean, you see the numbers right here. 20 points, that's cool. 5 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. But, 4 turnovers? Come on now. That's nasty. That's nasty. Brunson shot 7 of 25 from the field.
Brother,
That's nasty. That's nasty work.
Brother,
That's real nasty. 2 of 8 from 3.
Brother,
That's nasty work. He was getting cooked all over the court. He's the only person, I guess, outside of OG Anunoby, but he has the worst plus minus in the starting lineup. Worst among the team other than Mitchell Robinson, but we all know a lot of that was the hack of Mitch shit. Come on, Brunson. That's nasty work. Brunson was terrible tonight. Brunson was legitimately terrible. Just a horrendous game from Jalen Brunson. Am I echoing? Let me know if I'm echoing, because I feel like I am. I don't know if I am or not. Josh Hart. Someone talking about Josh Hart did all the little things. Nigga, Josh Hart was bad. This was not a typical Josh Hart game. I know he got a couple of rebounds in here and there. He was scrappy. Shout out to him for that. That's what Josh Hart do. But nigga, 0 of 4 from the field. Nigga, 5 fouls. 0 of 2 from 3. This nigga was trash. This nigga was trash. Not a good game. And shout out to Jose Alvarado. He similar stat line to Josh Hart. But that nigga had 2 offensive rebounds, big offensive rebounds that swung in the momentum for the Knicks. Huge offensive rebounds. It's hard for me to even put into words. Guys, I'm sorry that I'm going all good. Or excuse me, not good. I'm sorry that I'm all over the place and I can't compose myself right now. But it's because what I saw in that game legitimately pissed me off. Legitimately pissed me off. This is a game that was a must win for the Spurs. A must win game. I don't understand how Jalen Brunson can have back-to-back bad games and you guys still lose. If you're the Spurs, you can't let that happen. Brunson last game, granted he had 30 and went crazy in the fourth, but he was terrible. And that was a game that Wemby played terrible, to be fair. But you still should not lose that game. You have the best player on the court. Plenty of people, including myself, are claiming him to be the best player in the league. And he goes out there and plays like that. And they lose that game. This was a must win. This was a must win. And the crazy thing is, now we go to the Spurs side. The Spurs got a lot more out of some of these players than they were expecting. And like I said earlier, this was not a good Josh Hart game. This was not a good Josh Hart game. This was what they expect. The crazy thing is, we haven't even gotten to the Josh Hart game. Josh Hart limited because he was in foul trouble. Couldn't buy a fucking bucket. 0 fucking points. And on top of that, he didn't get the rebounds, especially the offensive rebounds that he did last game. He was a complete negative tonight. I don't care what the rebounds say. I don't care about the assist, the steal, the block. He was a negative tonight for the Knicks. Fouling, missing everything, wide open, non-floor spacer. He gave them literally nothing tonight. No value to them offensively whatsoever. And the Spurs still blew this game. Look, the crazy thing is, if you look at these numbers, right? The Knicks shot 41, I'll round up, 42% from the field. The Spurs shot 47% from the field. The Knicks shot 39% from the field. The Spurs shot they shot 39% from 3. The Spurs shot 38% from 3. The difference in this game is that the Knicks were killing them on the offensive glass. Jose Alvarado had 2 offensive rebounds on 1 possession. Do you know how embarrassing that is? And that points to the big picture that the Spurs need to upgrade their size outside of Wemby. They cannot rely on outlier games like Devin Vassell giving them 9 rebounds tonight. And he has some big rebounds. Props to Devin Vassell. But that's not the norm. Champagnie, I think in the first game, had 10 rebounds. I told y'all, that's not the norm. He goes back to the mean of 4 rebounds tonight. Wemby had 9 boards, props to him, 3 offensive rebounds, a couple of tips and shit. But outside of Wemby, nobody else was grabbing offensive boards. 1 offensive board for Dylan Harper, 1 offensive board for Keldon Johnson. If you go to the Knicks, 3 offensive boards for Towns, 2 offensive boards for Brunson, 2 offensive boards for McBride, an offensive board for Mitchell Robinson, who only played 14 minutes. In 10 minutes, Jose Alvarado got as many offensive rebounds as everybody else, got more offensive rebounds than everybody else on the Spurs roster outside of Wemby. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. And then you look at this Spurs team, right? Let's talk about what we saw from the Spurs team. Shout out Devin Vassell, great game. Julian Champagnie, 33% from the field. And I don't understand for the life of me why they aren't putting Champagnie on Karl Anthony Towns and letting Wemby roam off Josh Hart. I understand Josh Hart didn't have too many minutes, but this was nuts. This was nuts. And shout out to De'Aaron Fox. We got to give props to De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, he was terrible in game 1. But I got to give credit where credit is due. He came up big tonight, especially in the fourth quarter. He hit a lot of big shots. He hit this 1 step back 3. He got to the rim a couple of times, threw a lob to Wemby. That was all in the fourth quarter. He turned that game around for them when they went on that 14-0 run. So shout out to De'Aaron Fox. I got to give him credit where it's due. But it don't change what I said about game 1. It don't. And really throughout the whole playoffs with that guy. But I got to give credit where it's due. Keldon Johnson, terrible minutes. Keldon Johnson's supposed to be this big body guy. He couldn't finish layups. He was fouling. On top of that, he turned the ball over. I mean, he was a negative defensively. This nigga was a -5 off the bench in 15 minutes. Because those minutes that Mikal Bridges was cooking, who was he cooking, Keldon Johnson? Those minutes that Mikal Bridges was cooking when Wemby was off the court and Brunson and Cat were off the court, that was supposed to be Keldon Johnson. You complained about being the 6th man, right? You complained about that. You begged. You cried for that award. Buddy, we gave it to you. We gave it to you. And then in the finals, when they need you to step up, you got 3 points. You shot 1 of 4 from the field. You missed both of your 3-pointers. Keldon Johnson, I sentenced you to China. Go and play for the Beijing Tigers. Is trash. That nigga is garbage. Flat out bum. He's lucky he's even touching the damn court. I would even risk some Carter Bryant minutes to get Keldon Johnson out of here. And I say that knowing Carter Bryant, he picked up 2 fouls in 3 minutes, by the way, tonight. Talk about just being on the court doing nothing. Harrison Barnes was a -5 in 4 minutes. How are you a -5 in 4? I'll even round up 5 minutes. These niggas are fucking terrible. Fucking garbage. Guys, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I gotta be real though. We ain't even talking about Stephon Castle enough. Stephon Castle plays like Jaylen Brown if he was less skilled and actually was diagnosed with CTE. Legitimately. For real. I sentence you to China. This nigga had almost as many turnovers and fouls as he had shots made tonight. This nigga had 14 points. Cool. This nigga had 4 turnovers. This nigga proceeded to shoot 36% from the field. This nigga had shot 50% from the free throw line. You know, niggas talk about how the dynasty's starting after De'Aaron Fox, but it's going to start when that nigga Stephon Castle also go to the fucking bench. I don't understand it. He has no bag. He's not a floor spacer. He can't knock him down even when he's open. He's a turnover fucking machine. I mean, he's even when people talk about how great his defense is, I don't even think niggas understand how overrated that shit is. He's a super aggressive defender that's allowed to be super aggressive because he has Wemby in the back line. And to his credit, he's talked about that. A lot of the Spurs players have talked about that. But this was a trifling ass game. We might have been talking about the wrong nigga to get benched. Because it may not have been De'Aaron Fox. It might have had to be fucking Stephon Castle. Niggas talking about we gonna get the Champagne game in game 3. Nigga, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if that shit's coming. Because at some point, right? Champagne 1 had a really good game 1. That was the game to capitalize on the Champagne game. But at some point, the Knicks, they have to have realized that Wemby getting these pick and roll plays and these actions are going to just free up shots for these shooters in the corner, whether it's Devin Vassell, Julian Champagne, whoever it is. And they're going to start rotating better. Or maybe just living with some of these Wemby dunks. Guys, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. This was an embarrassing game. And I honestly do believe the Knicks might sweep the Spurs. I'm truly starting to think that because it's the way they've been on a roll, right? And the wild thing about this shit is that I'm looking at it right now. Let me pull it back up. I don't even know if the Knicks or if the NBA has uploaded the film. But like, if you look at some of the shots that Mikal Bridges was hitting, dog, that shit not available yet. It's cool. Mikal Bridges was just fucking insane. Insane. Guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And, you know, going forward, I really don't think the Spurs have hope to win a game in MSG. Truly, I think the Knicks are going to sweep them. I think so. I'm not one to just change my pick like that. If you tell me to make a bet, I'm still going to bet on the Spurs. But right now, conventional wisdom says the Knicks are going to win the next 2 games in MSG. Brunson, I think, is going to play better than this. He's due for at least one great game in this series. And I hate to say it, as bad as Josh Hart's been, he's due to knock down a couple of threes at some point. Josh Hart can't keep playing this bad. I don't even think he made a shot, or he made one shot, I believe. He's made one shot in the first 2 games of this series. That's going to change at some point. He's going to knock down some threes at some point. And when he does that, are we going to get the Champagne game then? Even though we already had a good Champagne game 1? Is Vassell going to score 30 to counteract that? Because when that nigga Josh Hart is hitting shots, it's almost like when Draymond's hitting shots. Now everybody's hot. You still got to guard Steph. You still got to guard Clay, yada, yada, yada. And when KD was there, it was even worse. Fuck that guy. But the same thing applies here. The same thing applies here. If Hart is hitting his shots, what hope do you have to stop Jalen Brunson? What hope do you have to stop Cat? Mikal Bridges, and that's the thing about this Knicks team that I've just completely underestimated. And I knew this, but I still underestimated it. They have so many guys that can go out there on any given night and give you 20. Some nights even 30 if they're that hot. OG Anunoby's been having the playoffs of his life. Mikal Bridges started off terrible in these playoffs, and he's been on fire since. Tonight, I think if anybody was the most important player, I actually think it was Mikal Bridges. Truly. Because he put them in position to where they could withstand a 14-point comeback. because Cat got in foul trouble. Cat picked up his 4th foul, I believe, early in the 3rd quarter. He picked up 2 quick fouls to start off the 3rd quarter. And after that, he went to the bench. Brunson's on the bench. And sure, the Spurs got a couple of runs here and there, but who kept that Knicks offense afloat? Mikal Bridges shots, Landry Shamet shots, Deuce hit a couple of solid shots for them. Deuce. Shout out to Deuce McBride, man. I underestimated the Knicks. I picked the Spurs in 6, and I guess technically that could still happen. But if the Spurs go into MSG and win 2 games, these next 2 games to be specific, I haven't seen a series like that in a while, where the home team loses their first 2 home games and then the away team wins their next 2. I've never seen that, especially in the finals. I ain't seen some shit like that before. I think the last time I seen that, where the home team lost their first 2 games and then proceeded to win the next 2 away games, I think that was the Clippers. If y'all remember when the Clippers faced the Mavericks, what was that? I think 2021, because the Clippers were cooking the Mavs. I know Luka owned the Clippers, but the Clippers were cooking the Mavs for a couple of years, and they had a series where the Mavs won the first 2 games at home, on the road in LA. Then the Clippers proceeded to win the next 2 games, and they ended up winning the series. So that's what the Spurs got to do. It can't just be about, we got to win 1 game in MSG. You blew that opportunity tonight. You blew that shit tonight. Someone said Wolves Nuggets. Wasn't that a 5-game series this year? Oh, 2024. Oh, that makes sense why I don't remember that, because I was at basic training. So that makes sense. I missed that shit. I ain't gonna lie. That's why you don't see me talking about anything really related to 2024 like that, truly. Someone said every team that came back down 2-0 in the finals lost their first 2 games on the road. That's true, because I remember when the Bucks lost to the Suns, they were down 2-0 on the road because they were in Phoenix for the first 2 games. I remember it was Chris Paul going crazy in that first game, nuts. Devin Booker, I think, went crazy the second game. And then Giannis dicked them down the rest of the series. It was crazy. But honestly, guys, I'm at the point where I'm so sorry. I apologize to the New York Knicks fan base for disrespecting y'all and at treating y'all like pushovers because y'all ran through that shitty ass East. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I truly do mean that. I shouldn't have underestimated this team. I knew they were a great team. I didn't consider the all-time run that they had. And truly, I underestimated what they would be able to maintain throughout this whole playoffs in the finals, because it's not even like they're playing at the level collectively. Like their stars may not be, but it's not even like collectively, especially when you look at the numbers, that they're playing at the level that they were playing earlier on in the playoffs. It's that they've come down from that and still being down at a lower level than their offensive and defensive capabilities that they've shown, at least offensively, not defensively, because they've been great defensively, but their offensive capabilities that they've shown throughout this entire playoffs, they've come down from that. And even coming down from that is a step above what the Spurs got, because the Spurs are even playing great defense. The Knicks are just hitting some tough ass shots. And sure, don't get me wrong, the Spurs have been a little boneheaded here and there with their mistakes, but that's youth and inexperience that the Knicks are not lacking in. OG Anunoby got playoff burn, I think, in his rookie year. Or no, my bad. His rookie year, he got hurt, right? Or no, he got playoff burn his rookie year when he had to guard LeBron and got completely fucking shredded. But he's been in the league over the last near half decade. Jalen Brunson, he's an experienced pro. He's an experienced college player. Played multiple years in college, winning a championship at Villanova, and now in the league, cooking these niggas. Cooking these niggas. The footwork. The jump shots improved. The ability to navigate through the mid-range area, be crafty, get to the line, score over anybody. And shout out to Brunson, even though he had a horrendous game. He was bad tonight. He did hit a clutch shot that tied the game. And he hit the free throw that put them up in the game. But I would be remiss. Honestly, I would be an idiot and a hypocritical ass nigga if I didn't talk about the last sequence of that game. I'd be a hypocrite. So let's pull that shit up. Let's pull that shit up. Because I would be a hypocrite if I didn't talk about that. Truly, I'd be a hypocrite.
Brunson dribbles.
Here it is right here. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't talk about that shit. So here we go. Last play of the game. Brunson has the ball. He gets the switch he wants. He wants Wemby, right? So he doesn't even take the screen. He goes to the right. He wants Wemby. And Wemby, to be fair, gets a good contest. Even though Brunson gets the shot off, Wemby gets a good contest. Brunson misses, which is what they want. It's a tie game, guys. It's a tie game. And I understand instinct comes into play, but this is also where experience comes into play. The instinct, especially for a big after you get the board, when Wemby sees here, he sees Castle looking at him. And he already starts initiating the pass. Castle turns around, and honestly, I don't even know who to blame on that now that I look at this. Because if you're Castle, why aren't you calling for the ball? Maybe you're thinking Wemby's just going to take that shit down the court. Y'all going to reset. Maybe y'all call a timeout. And maybe that's also on Mitch Johnson for not calling a timeout as soon as Wemby got the ball. But they wanted to play through with that momentum. Wemby passes it when Castle wasn't looking. And props to Brunson for seeing that. Brunson saw that shit immediately. You see, he's already taken off. He sees that shit immediately. And he gets the ball. And Wemby fouls Brunson. And if anything, not only was that a bad foul because it put Brunson at the line, but y'all could have trapped him right there. Maybe he could have got a pass off, but y'all could have trapped him. And to be fair, they did have a better scenario than a lot of people probably thought after that because Brunson missed one of the free throws and they got the rebound. But this was bad. This was just completely bad. This was inexperience coming out of the Spurs. A complete miscommunication at the worst possible time, and maybe even a lack of experience from Mitch Johnson. Because you can make the argument that right here, he should have called a timeout. You got a timeout. You got 12 seconds. You can get a playoff. And even if that play breaks down, you hold that ball, shoot a last second shot at the buzzer. And if you miss, you go to overtime. And maybe that game is still on. But the way that they were playing against the fucking Thunder, maybe it goes to triple overtime. I don't know. But this was nuts. This was nuts. And that's going to be a play that Wemby remembers for a very long time, especially if they lose this series. That's going to be a play he remembers. I'm sure they showed the replay. Look at the fan. That was me on the fucking floor when that shit happened. That was me. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that shit. That was bad. That was bad. Oh, God. Man. And I got to say, man, to all the old heads out there talking about experience and shit, this is definitely something that, you know, I got to tip my hat off to them niggas, or I guess say tip my beanie off to them OGs. Because in their mind, you know, they're looking at a team like the Knicks. Mike Brown is one of the most experienced coaches in the league. He's been around for a long time. Coached LeBron in Cleveland. Things didn't go well at the end. He leaves, gets fired, ends up with LA, gets fired, ends up with the Warriors, sits behind them for a while, obviously learns under Steve Kerr, brings some of that offensive innovation over to Sacramento. They have the best offense. I think statistically at that time, by offensive rating standards, they had the number one offense of all time. One of the best offenses, excuse me. Then he now leaves Sacramento after he gets fired. He resurrected them. And look at, if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, it's got to be one of the worst last 2 years for you, right? Tyrese Halliburton goes to the NBA Finals. The next year, De'Aaron Fox is in the NBA Finals. Whether we like it or not, he's there. He contributed. One of their 5 best players, probably. Not probably, he is. One of their 5 best players. And Mike Brown, the coach you let go because your team just stunk it up. That wasn't his fault. He's in the NBA Finals too. The worst two scenarios in back-to-back season, and your team is fucking falling apart because you chose to make Domantas Sabonis like one of your franchise players. That's on you. But back to Mike Brown, he's had an insane run as far as just rebuilding his career. Back into now, you could argue they win this series. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's going in the Hall. He's led the Cavs to 66 wins, I believe, right? 66 wins one year, multiple 60-win seasons, multiple number one seeds. I don't know if he was the coach in 07 when they made the finals, but regardless, he led them to multiple number one seeds, led them to the conference finals before. When he was with the Kings, he rejuvenated that franchise. And sure, you could say they had a lot of things going for them that year. Keegan Murray had a great rookie season. Domantas Sabonis had his best season. De'Aaron Fox had a great season. Malik Monk, great season. Kevin Huerter, great shooting season. But go look at what a lot of those players are looking like now, especially those role players. Go look at what a lot of them are looking at right now. He brought offensive innovation into that team. And the next year, even though they fell off, they were still a really good offensive team. They just weren't hitting the highs that they were the year before. And defensively, they just couldn't maintain whatsoever. They were never a great defensive team, which was always interesting, right? Because Mike Brown is a defensive-oriented coach. You can see it not only with this Knicks team. You saw it with that Cavs team. Yes, LeBron carried a lot, but those guys hustled. He implemented good systems, good schemes defensively, using LeBron in a lot of different ways that we really haven't even seen since then. I think LeBron actually peaked defensively in like 2009, 2010. Those were his best defensive years, in my personal opinion. And it ain't just all about LeBron being at his peak athletically or even as a player, because a lot of people think he peaked in 2009. Nah, it was because Mike Brown implemented a lot of schemes, used them in a lot of different ways, and obviously LeBron was better. But Mike Brown goes from that, the Kings, and now with the Knicks. If he leads the Knicks as the coach, of course, to their first ever championship since what was it? When did they last win? 74 or something, 75? But Bernard King, Walt Frazier. If he can do that, he's going to have a statue outside of New York. Him, Cat, or Brunson. And right now, if I had to pick a finals MVP, for this series, it's Karl Anthony Towns. It is easily Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, we'll see if Mikal can maintain this, what he's done so far. Let me see something. How good was Mikal in the last game? Mikal in the last game, not too much, really. Kind of whatever. But Cat, I don't care what the numbers say. Cat was big bodying in game one. So we'll see if Mikal can maintain or if Jalen Brunson can keep it up. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy for Karl Anthony Towns. Truly, I'm happy for him. He's evolved his game from being, and it's so weird with Cat, right? Because Cat and Brunson, I think, have had super unlikely rises to this moment in their careers. We talked about Brunson earlier, but Karl Anthony Towns, this is a guy that when he came into the NBA, he was voted, if you wanted to start your franchise today, who would you pick? And I think it was like 49, 50% of the GMs and owners and coaches. I think it was GMs and owners. They said Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns. And the crazy thing is, right? If you go to Karl Anthony Towns' career, and look up his numbers in his rookie and sophomore season, he had one of the best starts to a career in NBA history that we had seen over years in the NBA. Truly. Here it is right here. Let's pull it up. Cat in his rookie year. Let me zoom in a little bit. Where the fuck is the zoom? There it is. My cord covering it. Cat in his rookie year, 18 points a game, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 54% from the field, 34% from three, albeit not too many attempts, but you saw the flashes. He was a good mid-range shooter. He showed promise as a passer, playmaker. And that's another thing about Cat. All these things he's doing now, he's always had the ability to do them. Teams just didn't utilize it to the best of their ability and put him in the right positions to succeed. He wins Rookie of the Year, I'm pretty sure, in a landslide that year, right? Yeah, pretty much in a landslide. All first place votes. He was the unanimous rookie of the year. And that was a rookie season that had Porzingis, who had a really good rookie season. Devin Booker, whatever. Okafor, whatever. But Cat went unanimous rookie of the year. Then in his sophomore season, ups his averages all across the board. 18 points to 25.5 points, 25 points per game. 10 rebounds to 12 rebounds. Around 2.5 offensive rebounds to 3.5 offensive rebounds. 2 assists to 3 assists. Maintains 54% from the field. Ups his 3-point attempts from 1 to 3.5. 36% or 37% from 3. 83% from the free throw line on more attempts. I remember there was a point in time, especially after his third year, where people were thinking, could Cat have a 50, 40, 90 season? And he kept up in the 3-point attempts to the point that he even got to a year at his peak as a 3-point shooter in Minnesota. 27, 11, and 4. 51% from the field. 41% from 3. 8 attempts a game. 80% at the free throw line. But you know the wild thing is, as good as these numbers were, one, Cat defensively was terrible. He was awful in the beginning of his career. Don't let these little blocks fool you. He was food in the pick and roll, couldn't defend in space, terrible in isolation, of course, especially when people picked on him on the perimeter, didn't really show a lot of effort, and he was a foul machine. I mean, you're seeing it right here. Year 3, 3.5 fouls a game. Year 4, nearly 4 fouls a game. Later on, year 6, nearly 4 fouls a game. It's even followed him through some of his time in New York so far, and later years in Minnesota. He's been a constant foul machine. So he was terrible defensively earlier on in his career in New York. Not in New York, in Minnesota. Then Karl Anthony Towns, right? They get Jimmy Butler. I believe that was in 2018. They wanted to teach these youngins, right? They got Jimmy Butler. They paired him with Andrew Wiggins. You know, they picked up Taj Gibson, whatever. And Karl Anthony Towns still had a great year, made third team All-NBA. Jimmy Butler goes down. And in those games that Jimmy Butler went down in 2022, or no, my bad, 2020, my bad, I'm way off. And 2018, I was way off, I'm sorry. 2018. In those games, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 wins. They won 8 games from late February to early April. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They went 8-9, below 500. He had to come back at the end of the season, not even healthy, and they had a do or die game against Minnesota, where Jimmy Butler gives them the game of the season. Gives them 31. He carried them in the last 3 games just to get over the finish line. And when he got hurt, the wild thing about that, they were 36-26. Jimmy Butler comes back, and they were 44-35. It ain't the worst thing in the world, but they were in a comfortable enough position when Jimmy Butler got hurt to cruise into the playoffs. And actually, it's wild because Jimmy Butler got hurt in this game. So if we're really being real, before that, they were 36-25. 11 games above 500. It's crazy what happened that season. And then in the playoffs, unfortunately, Karl Anthony Towns was terrible. He was bad. And I'm bringing all this shit up for a reason, because this was the beginning of the end of Karl Anthony Towns' reputation. So we thought, right? Because in the playoffs, he gets completely bitched by Clint Capella. I remember this. This was nuts. Cat, 15 points a game, 13 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 47% from the field. Didn't even take too many threes, but still shot 27% from 3, 74% from the free throw line. Getting your chain snatched by Clint Capella when just a couple of years ago, you were supposed to be the face of the league. The whole NBA was saying if they wanted to start a franchise, they're going to pick you over LeBron, over Anthony Davis, over Giannis. That goes to show just how far he had fallen. And yes, it was his first playoffs, but getting outplayed by Clint Capella as an all-NBA player, a top 5 to 6 center in the NBA, That's never acceptable. Getting outplayed by Clint Capella is not acceptable for anybody. I'm going to just be honest with you. Especially if you Karl Anthony Towns in year 3. You had back-to-back nasty losing seasons where you couldn't guard a soul and you was putting up what people consider empty stats. And the first time you get to play real winning basketball, you choke. Then the next year, Jimmy Butler leaves. And what happens? They miss the playoffs. They win 36 games. And the weird thing is, Cat wasn't missing games. He played that year. And then the next year they get, I believe that was the year they got, I don't know if this is not the year. They lost again that year. They were terrible, but Cat did get hurt. And then Anthony Edwards entered the mix because of how bad they were. Andrew Wiggins is gone. And Anthony Edwards takes over as the face of that franchise. And he's still doing his thing. Shout out to Ant. And then they bring in Rudy Gobert. And I actually think they started figuring shit out. In 2024, Cat had an all-star level season. I remember he had that like 70-point game or some shit like that, or maybe 65. I may be misremember. It was a crazy game. He was going so crazy, and then he started shot chucking. He could have had 80 if he just played in flow, but he was clearly trying to stat pad. But Cat goes out there that year, averages 22, 8, 3 assists. She's 50, 40, 50, 42, 87 shooting splits. Goes into the playoffs, and the numbers are not going to reflect it. But Cat played great in that postseason. I was at basic training. I went back and looked at the tape and everything. Cat played great, especially in that Nuggets series. I actually don't think Cat got enough credit for the defense he was playing on what's his name, Nikola Jokic. He ain't get enough credit. In that series, 19-9, 3 assists, 51% from the field, 39% for 3, 79% for the free throw line. The numbers don't show the full story. He was playing great. I'm telling y'all right now, he was playing great. And, you know, people sit there. I saw somebody say Minnesota. I don't know if I could find a tweet. Niggas saying it compares to Shaq and Hakeem. Please, let's calm down. Let's relax. It ain't on that level. But I was seeing niggas say that if Minnesota had kept Karl Anthony Towns, that this year they would have won the championship. And I want to ask y'all, do y'all believe that if Minnesota kept Karl Anthony Towns, they win the championship this year? Because I think that's a little too far. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. Let me ask you. Let me put that shit in the chat. Let me put that poll. Y'all make sure y'all interact with that poll. If Minnesota I'll bring y'all that poll right there. If Minnesota keeps Cat, do they eventually win the chip? Let me know what y'all think. I'm honestly on the side where people that are criticizing Minnesota for trading Cat in hindsight, one, yes, I ain't gonna lie, getting Randall in return is rough. Especially now. We seeing how rough that shit is looking. But one, that was a business move. I'm not going to kill them for that. It was a business move. They're a small market team. They were over the luxury tax. We saw a lot of teams blow it up in the offseason, right? The Celtics, you had to rebuild. Right? You can't keep paying all that money. It's a lot. People really, understate the tax it is to be a small market team. There are very limited ways you can improve your roster, and maintaining the roster, even if you draft well, it's super hard. That's why OKC, they're going to have some tough decisions to make, especially if they don't win another championship. But with Karl Anthony Towns, right, getting back to him and how he's redeemed himself, he then goes to Minnesota. Excuse me, not Minnesota. He then goes to New York in a trade that, even at the time, niggas were talking crazy. Niggas were talking about this is a lose-lose trade. And I'm not going to lie, a part of me did kind of think that, just because I didn't really like the fit with Cat and Brunson. I thought that had a clear ceiling. I didn't like the idea of two players that are not defensively slanted or at least one of them isn't defensively slanted. They're clearly offensively oriented and have clear holes defensively. Pairing them together, especially a big and point guard, I just didn't see that meshing well and putting a clear ceiling on the team. But then they go out with OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, get guys that can maximize those minutes defensively the best they possibly can with Cat and Jalen Brunson on the court. And sure, last year was rough, but then they replaced Tom Thibodeau with Mike Brown, a guy that's going to play some guys some minutes, give some more opportunities on that bench to other guys. And now, lo and behold, Landry Shamet stepping up, Deuce McBride stepping up, Mitch Robinson maintaining defensive presence and rebounding off the bench, and then implementing a system that's going to use Cat better. Because like I said, Mike Brown coached under Steve Kerr. He saw the value of using an offensive hub in the front court with Draymond Green, Andrew Bogut, hell, even Kevon Looney at times. Using somebody in those positions. And Karl-Anthony Towns is such an underrated passer. Forget the assists in years that he averaged like 4 or 5 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, even in college, was a really good passer. That was one of his gifts. He was like a 5-tool player out there. He was very good at finding guys off of cuts, two-man game, post-up actions. You know, I remember there was even a play where they ran a pick and roll. I think like one of the first plays Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert ran was a pick and roll, and he threw a lob to him. Cat's always been a very underrated passer. And when you look at this New York Knicks team, look at all the really good off-ball players they got. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. I mean, he's not a spot-up shooter or anything. He doesn't even attempt too many, but he can cut. Landry Shamet, good off-ball shooter, right? Whatever, forget the rest of them. But these three right here, Deuce McBride, I got to give Deuce his props too. And Jalen Brunson, who I think is also a solid off-ball player as well. And he doesn't get enough credit. He's not the greatest, but he's not like terrible or anything. But these four right here, putting them on the court and having them cut in so many different actions off the ball and utilizing Cat as a hub at the top of the key. It's been so great against this Spurs team, and I undervalued that ability and how it can affect the Spurs defense, right? Because when you do that, one of the Spurs' biggest weaknesses is not having help with their size on the inside and really having a secondary rim deterrence other than Wemby. They're so Wemby reliant defensively because Wemby shuts down, really, he can shut down an offense in the half court damn near single-handedly. And I'm not trying to take credit away from the other guys like Castle, you know, and those guys that hustle and everything. But at the end of the day, Wemby he's carrying that Spurs defense to a large degree. And he can't do it all if he's guarding Cat and Cat pulls him out the paint. And if Wemby's not on Cat, Cat can do his thing and bully and take guys off the dribble, shoot over the top of them. And if Wemby brings some help, McBride's going to cut. Shamet's going to cut. Mikal's going to cut. OG's going to cut. Or they can spot up. And God forbid, if Josh Hart starts knocking down his threes, the game is fucking over. So I look at what Karl-Anthony Towns has transformed his career into being. And I gotta give credit where it's due. He's gone from a player that Jimmy Butler was bitching him in the offseason after his lone season in Minnesota and then demanded a trade because he said these niggas was too soft. He said these niggas was too pussy. And now and now he's here in not Minnesota. He's here in New York after being traded for Julius Randle. Don't get me wrong. I get that Minnesota had to make some money decisions and some business decisions. And Rudy Gobert's contract is damn near unmovable. And he's the defensive anchor. I get that. I understand that completely. But Julius Randle, if I'm Cat, not only am I embarrassed, I feel disrespected that you niggas thought I was worth the value of Julius fucking Randle. I don't give a fuck if that's money moves or not. You lose any trade that the big piece you get in return is Julius fucking Randle. And we saw how that turned out for them in these playoffs, right? That shit was fucking gross. And I look at what Cat is now going to do in this series going forward. This nigga not only gonna win a championship potentially, one more championship than Jimmy Butler. Granted, less finals appearances, but still, one more championship than Jimmy Butler. And he's about to get the finals MVP. And even on a personal level, I'm happy for Cat. People calling him soft, calling him gay, all this shit they were saying about Cat. Meanwhile, this nigga a millionaire. This nigga bagged Jordan Woods. This nigga living in New York. This nigga is 2 wins away from a championship and finals MVP. And I mean, he was already a Hall of Famer before in my eyes. But it's going to be no doubt after this series if they win. It's going to be no damn doubt. And he was going through so much just a couple of years ago. You got Karl-Anthony Towns' mom passing away from COVID. Meanwhile, you got motherfuckers like Bradley Beal talking about the shot ain't effective and all that shit. He got people in his profession talking about COVID ain't legit, the vaccine ain't shit, downplaying a disease that killed his mom. And people still calling him soft, people still calling him lame, people still calling him gay, sassy, feminine. Granted, the voice change shit is a little corny. I ain't gonna lie about that. But at the end of the day, that man showed up and showed out this year. He changed and adjusted his game, being called out by Shaq in post-game interviews saying, bro, I don't like the fact that you got 7 assists and 16 points, 10 rebounds. Dominate. Give him 30 and 15 like I do, and I know you capable of. All that shit Shaq was saying, calling him, basically saying you playing like a bitch. Play like me. No, nigga, not everybody is Shaq. Not everybody is Shaq. I seen Shaq talking about Wemby need to take some tips from what I was doing in my first finals when I averaged like 30 or some shit on Hakeem. I'm like, nigga, not everybody's you. Not everybody is you. 300 pounds, turn around, dunk on niggas. Fucking pushing niggas out the way, elbowing niggas and shit. Fighting through contact because you big as fuck. 300 plus pounds, 7 foot tall. Not everybody is Shaquille fucking O'Neal. Karl-Anthony Towns, he makes free throws, okay? He can space the floor. He can run some two-man action, which I ain't gonna knock Shaq for that because Shaq's actually one of the more underrated passers at his position ever, to be honest. But my point still stands. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't complain. It was a little frustrating at first when he had to adjust, but then he fully made that adjustment and bought in. And in these playoffs, let's pull it up right here. In these playoffs, Cat's been on a roll. I don't give a fuck what the points per game say. Even the assists show it, though. Cat in these playoffs averaging 17 points per game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, which is a career high, not only in the playoffs, but even in the regular season, that would be a career high for him. A block, a steal, 56% from the field, 47% from 3, 90% of the free throw line. This guy's got 56, 47, 90 shooting splits. And mind you, the great thing about Cat this postseason is that the biggest thing that I think that was valid about the criticism for Karl-Anthony Towns was the defense. And defensively, he's been holding it down. Holding it down for this Knicks team. If you asked me, my bad. Let's see, I got a text. Sorry about that, y'all. If you asked me 8, 9 years ago, even 4 or 5 years ago, that Karl-Anthony Towns would be the rim protector of one of the best playoff defenses that we have ever seen, I would say you need to put down the fucking crack pipe. I would never have fucking believed you. I would never have believed that. But it's happening. And he's not just going out there guarding like bums. That's the wild thing. Cat's had some solid big men that he's had to go up against. Whether, granted, hobbled, but Joel Embiid. Second round, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. And now Victor Wembanyama, a guy who many people, including myself, have dubbed the best player on the planet. And maybe it's not that Wemby is looking bad because he's not the best. And that could be true. I'm not denying that. Maybe the Knicks are really just making it that tough for Wemby. And it's a hard realization that people like me, who have doubted them at every single damn turn, have to come to. Maybe it's just that simple. And I'm sorry to the Knicks fans. I owe y'all an apology. And don't worry. Don't worry. You guys will get your apology video when y'all, if, let me not say when, because I still want to have some faith in the Spurs, some little faith, even if it's little. Y'all will get your apology if y'all win this series. And at this point, damn near when y'all win this series. So props to the Knicks, man. Props to the Knicks. Shout out to them. And like I said, this wasn't even a game where Wemby was struggling. Wemby was not bad tonight. Wemby played good for the most part. 29 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 blocks, 2 assists, 52% from the field, 33% from 3, 63% from the free throw line. But we'll live with that, with the rest of that stat line. But it was just one of those games where, because of the construction of this Knicks team, with guys like Mikal, OG hitting tough shots, maintaining the momentum, even when Cat and Brunson are off the court and Cat's in foul trouble. I mean, it all comes down to the front office too. And shout out to the front office. Shout out to what they've done up there. Because what they've done is construct a roster that is perfect around 2 stars that are not defensively oriented. Even though Cat stepped it up, I wouldn't consider him like some elite defender or a great defender. He's been great defensively in this playoffs, don't get me wrong. But generally speaking, that's not his thing. Man, I got to give him credit where it's due. I underestimated this team. I underestimated this franchise. I let my previous hate for the New York Knicks cloud my judgment. And to all the Knicks fans out there, I owe y'all an apology. I even made a bet on Players Choice. I forgot that man's name. I'm so sorry. But I made a bet on Players Choice with this one guy. He's a Knicks fan. And we said, if the Knicks lose, or excuse me, if the Knicks win, I'll wear a Jalen Brunson jersey. And to all the Knicks fans out there, if the Knicks win this series, or I guess at this point, let me not say win, but if the Knicks win this series, I will wear a Jalen Brunson jersey. Let's see. How many weeks y'all want me to wear a Jalen Brunson jersey in my videos? How many weeks y'all want me to wear one? Y'all give me some numbers down there in the comment section. Give me some numbers of how many weeks y'all want me to wear a Jalen Brunson jersey if the Knicks win. Don't say forever. Give me a reasonable number, y'all. Come on now. Give me a reasonable number. Someone said 52 weeks. Buddy, come on. You know that's not happening. While y'all comment that, let me go check on the poll results. So I asked, if Minnesota keeps Karl-Anthony Towns, do they eventually win a chip? 40% of y'all said yes. 60% of y'all said no. Someone said the whole offseason. I don't know about that, buddy. I don't know about that. Let me give y'all another Q. Let's do a Q&A. While y'all answering that question. We got 55 people up in here. Appreciate that. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes to 50. Let's rack that shit up. If you're watching it, rack it up. Someone said 52 weeks. Like I said, that ain't happening. 5 videos, whole off season for at least a week. I ain't gonna buy a Jalen Brunson jersey just to wear for a week. Because let's say I don't make no videos that week. Something comes up. So it's got to be a video kind of thing. Y'all can't make it weeks. Yeah, y'all know I'll be going ghost sometimes, and I'm sorry about that. I'm trying not to. What was Lowe's there if the Wizards won 25 games? Was that for this season? Did the Wizards win 25 games this season? Did they win 25? I don't think they did. Let me see. Especially with the way they was tanking, boy. So yes, they won 17 games. I was going to say, ain't no way they won 25. So that was a good bet. Maybe, is that a bet that he made for next year or something? Five videos. I'm seeing a lot of 5 videos. So maybe that's what we'll do. 5 videos, I'll wear a Jalen Brunson jersey. 5 videos. I got y'all. I can do that. I can do 5 videos. I can do 5 videos. I'll wear a Brunson jersey for 5 videos this offseason if the Knicks win the championship this year. I'm gonna have to wear it on PC, so it's all good. I'll cop a Brunson jersey, and maybe I'll even frame it. And honestly, maybe it won't be a Brunson jersey. Maybe it should be a Cat jersey. With the way Cat's playing, I might have to cop a Cat jersey. And it's gonna hurt me, but it's whatever. Because I ain't really trying to wear a Knicks jersey. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to wear it. Someone's gonna screenshot it and be like, look at this guy trying to jump on the fucking bandwagon now that we won a championship. Not knowing I'm doing a fucking dare. But that's what I get for doubting y'all. Someone said change my icon to me in a Jalen jersey. That's crazy. Maybe I'll do that. Someone said Low said when Wemby's on fire, his shot making is better than 2018 LeBron. Get the fuck out of here. I can't believe he said that. That's got to be fake. But I see this one question that we have here, and I'll highlight it real quick. It says, is Jalen Brunson better than Luka? Not only is that a fucking disgusting take, but y'all niggas need to shut the fuck up with that. That's fucking stupid. Jalen Brunson is not better than Luka Doncic. Y'all niggas, it's like I watch basketball in a different league than y'all watch. Or should I say, it's like I watch a different league than you niggas. Do we watch the same NBA? Like, what are y'all talking about? Jalen Brunson? You know, that actually brings me to something I saw on Twitter today. Let me find that shit. It was Michael Wilbon who said that shit. This shit pissed me off. Stephen A. Smith not on First Take, and these niggas think they can just get off whatever take they want to get off because they got to just, I guess, get some kind of clicks. This was stupid as fuck. I'll play it right now.
Don't vote. Jalen Brunson's at least as valuable as Luka Doncic.
You see how dumb this nigga sounds? You know, I'll let this shit play because this was stupid as fuck. Luka just be going through the most insane disrespect. When Luka came in the league, they were sucking this nigga's meat off. He go through a couple of lows after making the finals just 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago, Luka was 3 wins away from the NBA Finals. Or excuse me, from winning a championship. And 2 years prior was in the Western Conference Finals, 3 wins away from a finals appearance. And I got niggas talking about Jalen Brunson is more valuable than Luka fucking Doncic? Let's keep going and listen to the stupidity that came out this nigga's mouth today.
At least. Because Jalen
Nigga said at least. He doubled down on that dumbass shit.
Brunson's not a great defender, but he doesn't take a I don't give a damn about
He's a
half
willing
approach.
He's a willing defender.
He's a willing defender.
Effort.
Shump, if I compare him to sort of like early Steph, right?
Oh my God. I assume he means defensively with that early Steph because ain't no way he's saying as a player. A willing defender, y'all. I guess if you're like shit, but you're like better shit, it means something. It means something. Not the fact that, you know, Luka's out there with, we talk about not give a fuck defenders. He out there playing with DeAndre Ayton at the 5. He out there playing with Austin Reeves, 40-year-old LeBron. No disrespect to LeBron, he's the GOAT, but what are we doing here? Let's keep going and listen to the fucking nonsense that came out this nigga's mouth earlier this morning.
Willing, but you know, not
The effort's there.
Effort's
It says
there.
he might not be there,
Right.
but he won't let somebody just blow by him.
and Luka.
He won't let somebody blow by him. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? He won't let somebody blow by him? Nigga, do you watch the games? Why are you lying?
Doesn't care about that side, but yet we value that. We value the 37 points a game, whatever it is. North Texas blew up because they got rid of Luka. No, nobody had that reaction when Jalen Brunson walked out of North Texas.
Why does that even matter? What is he talking about? Why does that even matter? Nigga, because Brunson wasn't seen as the player now that he was then. Yes, and honestly, you know what's wild about that? Because I'm from Texas. I know plenty of niggas from Dallas. They were so disappointed that this nigga walked out. And you want to know why they didn't have the outrage? Because they know deep down, just like you know deep down, Luka was the man. And he's still the man. He's still better than fucking Brunson. And y'all like to throw these words around because y'all don't want to stand on takes. He's more valuable. Nigga, just say you think he's better because that's what you're trying to say. This is the same guy who said he'll never even put Luka in his top 5 for MVP voting because he don't play defense. But this nigga's on the record in his voting history, voting for niggas like Steph Curry, voting for niggas like James Harden to win the MVP. Like, what the these niggas just be saying dumb nut shit. Dumb nut shit. The fuck are you talking about, man? I'm tired of niggas like Wilbon saying inconsistent shit and not even standing on the shit they be saying like full force. Stand on that shit or shut the fuck up. That shit is nuts to me. That shit is nuts to me. Talking about he's better than Luka fucking Doncic. Niggas make the finals and all of a sudden the confirmation winning bias just flow out of niggas' mouths. Exactly, Kyle. Not voting Luka for MVP because of defense, but then continue to give Jokic 3 to 4 MVPs. That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane. Let's go on to the next question, bro. Oh shit, I accidentally pressed this nigga channel. My bad. Is Cat the third best center in the NBA? I don't know about third best center in the NBA. Cause I'm trying to think. He might be actually, right? Because Embiid just too injury prone. I'm sorry. Third best center. Right? You got Jokic. Wemby. Don't get it twisted. Wemby's still better than him. This isn't in order. But after that, it might be Cat. Duran, fuck no. Kata. Jared Allen, no. Because Embiid is hurt, it might be Cat by default, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. Truly, I don't. Cat better than Chet? Chat, is Cat better than Chet? I know this it's tough to say that now. But think about where we were like last year. Did niggas think that Cat was better than Chet? Y'all think Cat's better than Chet? And don't let this Wemby series fool you just because I mean, it's a bad series. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But at the same time, I mean, it's one series that he had that was really fucking bad. Don't get me, it was really fucking bad. But is Cat better than Chet? And even if you say Cat, some nigga saying hell yeah. I mean, that's fine if y'all think Cat's better than Chet. I'm not really gonna kill y'all for that. I probably agree. Cat is better than fucking Sengun. Better than Gobert. Better than Klingon. Yeah. Cat's probably the third best center in the league. Yeah. Cat's the third best center. Center position really kind of taking a hit with the depth, and that's no shot at Cat. But like after Cat, I mean, you got the relics of Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo. I mean, I guess he's not even a center. It's Khalil Ware, actually. Chet, of course. Sengun. Gobert. Yeah, once you get to like that 5, 6, even at 4, but that 5, 6, 7 range, this gets spooky. Then you got to reach for niggas like Sabonis. And no disrespect to Sabonis, but like, come on now. So yeah, Cat is probably the third best center in the league. I would say so. Would the Mavs have won a ring if Luka and Brunson if they still have them on the team? You know, it's weird because I don't think exceptions to the rule really change what's the norm. So I don't think having two bad defenders of that caliber, especially in your backcourt, because it's one thing when you have Brunson and Cat, where sure, like at first I was super skeptical about it because Cat's the rim protector and Brunson's a POA guy, and those are your two best players. They gotta be on the court together. But at least like you could pair Brunson in the backcourt with somebody else, like a Mikal. You could support them with wings like OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. You know, like that 3-wing lineup is great. That's like the perfect lineup. Hart can play up. OG Anunoby can play up. You know, Mikal's a flexible wing that can go get his own shot, defend multiple positions. He ain't the defender he was a couple years ago, but he's still a really good defender. Not really good. He's still a real solid defender. So yeah, I would say no. I'd say no, unfortunately. That's the safe answer. I don't think they would have won a ring. I don't think so, because they still would have had to go through teams like the Nuggets when they got Jamal and MPJ back. The Timberwolves, who's to say they don't still make that Rudy Gobert trade, right? And I understand Gobert got cooked when he was in Utah by them in that playoff run, but come on now. Like, that was when he had fucking Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson and Donovan Mitchell to cover for him defensively. So no, I'll say no. They wouldn't have won a championship. My boy Lil Trey, he said, who has been more dominant, the 24 Eagles or the 26 Knicks? It's tough, right? Because in the playoffs, right, for NFL, it's one game. And the Eagles, they dominated everybody outside of the Rams. I still say the Eagles. The Knicks, it's tough, right? Because it's been multiple games. The Knicks had a moment where they looked like, I didn't think they'd lose, but they looked like, I guess, the series was in some type of jeopardy doubt. I don't really think the Eagles throughout the entire playoffs had a moment where it really looked like they were going to lose. I don't really know if I believe that. Because that Rams game, it was a close game, don't get me wrong. But once Saquon made that run and was tapping his helmet and getting the CTE out of his fucking brain, I don't think it was ever really in doubt. At least on my end, I knew they were going to win. So I'd say the Eagles. Football question, that's nice. Is Wemby higher all time than Luka? No. Sorry, no. Do you think Wemby has similar flaws to Curry back in 2016? Curry, where they reliant on his off-ball scoring gravity, needing a shot maker like Steph needed KD. I don't think Steph needed KD. Come on, stop that. We're not going to rewrite history here. That's not what we do here. But do I think he has similar flaws? I think it's more so just physicality with Wemby, and I guess same thing. I guess with Curry a little bit, because Curry did bulk up. If you see, like during that 2022 season, he was a lot more bulkier. Granted, it affected his shot for a good minute, but I think a lot of that was him trying to get the record also. But yeah, I'd say no, not similar, because I guess Wemby should bulk up. So yeah, I guess similar. Yeah, I agree with that. What would be the adjustment for the Spurs in Game 3? The adjustments would be, honestly, try to utilize the shooters in the Wemby pick and roll. Just keep trying to do that, because it's tough to even say what the adjustments are, just because, one, I'm not a coach. I can't go back and watch this film right now. But from what I saw, truly, it seemed like the Spurs had the game in hand and they just blew it. And I can't, as far as being prepared situationally, that is on coaching. But a lot of this stuff you can't coach, especially with a younger guy like Mitch. They had this game. No pun intended. Wemby gave the game away. He threw the game away. And honestly, and another adjustment would just be maybe take your chances a little bit more with Brunson in one-on-one coverage. And then like you can show some doubles later in the game. And maybe even let Brunson cook and sell out on Towns a little more. Maybe, I mean, they got to throw the kitchen sink, but it's just, it's tough to do something like that when you're down 2-0. It's tough to go away from what I wouldn't say go away from what you've been doing, but it's tough to try something a little bit different when you have such little room for error. Because game three is a must win, absolutely. But unfortunately, it looks like a sweep. This looks like the other series that we've seen, except both games have been close. That's the difference. Both games have been close. That's the only difference. I mean, game 1, Wemby played absolutely terrible, and they still could have won that game. Then this game, Wemby plays great, and they still lose. And Brunson plays even worse in this game. Even in the fourth quarter, he was bad. He even missed a wide open 3 that could have put them up in the game. So, yeah. Who gets more passes? Shout out my boy Lil Trady. He said, who gets more passes, Jokic or Josh Allen when it comes to their failures? Easily Josh Allen. I mean, niggas literally were blaming his lineman for not falling on a fumble that Josh Allen created. It doesn't get crazier than that. And at least Jokic has a championship. Would the Mavs have won a title if they kept Luka and Brunson? Oh, you already asked this earlier. I said no. Is this version of Wemby better than peak AD, peak Anthony Davis? Oh, I'm gonna say I plead the fifth. I'm sorry. I plead the fifth. Are the 24 Celtics the best team to win a championship since the Warriors with Porzingis healthy? Yes, I believe so. Yeah, they are. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, they are. Someone says Mikal Bridges over Luka. He was joking, and then he said, but for real, who do you have winning next year? I can't make that prediction. The offseason ain't even start yet. Come on now. What kind of move do you think the Spurs should make in this offseason? Honestly, I don't know if Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be a free agent. I think he has a player option or a team option. If he's a free agent, maybe go after him. Honestly, the perfect thing would be Bam Adebayo. I ain't even gonna lie. Bam not only gives them size, some interior presence, he's a decent scoring option. He'll have Dylan Harper there with him. Wemby will be there. Can you imagine a defense with Wemby and Bam Adebayo? Wemby could literally just stay in the paint. Bam could be the one doing all the switches, running around, fighting through screens and shit. He could switch. That would be a cheat code. That'd be a cheat code. And Bam would finally have, and no disrespect to Khalil, where he's a good rim protector too, but Bam would have like the perfect rim protector next to him. And Bam can operate in the midi too. I love that fit. I don't know how they'd make that happen. Truly, I genuinely don't know how they'd make that happen. Obviously, Fox would have to be involved in that, and the Heat would finally have to decide to blow that shit up. But yeah, Bam Adebayo. If I could make one move, just drop a nigga on that team, it'd be Bam. He fixes a lot of issues for them. Other than that, I mean, I guess you could target Hartenstein in the offseason. I really don't know. Someone asked me about Trump. I'm not even addressing that. Someone said KD. Get serious. All right, well, that ends this Q&A. I appreciate all of you guys for showing up and showing out. I think at one point we had over 100 people in here. Thank you so much. Y'all always showing me love, always showing support. Even after I had a long hiatus, and I really do appreciate that. Y'all want the Chinese song to wrap things up? You want me to play y'all the Chinese song one more time? Let me know. Y'all comment. Y'all want the Chinese song before I wrap this up? Maybe I'll play that and I'll just end the stream after that. Let me see what y'all say. Niggas saying yes. Hell yeah. Do the dance? I don't know. What is the dance? Maybe I did that once. I don't know what the dance is. I truly don't know. All right.